Everybody excited to start a new project?
Yep.
Good. Gonna start with a little project that we have. It's just a little wall hanging. There's a couple of kits out there that uses a 4-inch cube, and I don't remember how much the kit cost was, $29, something like that, under 30. But it's just cute. You can use it for a table topper, and we don't have yardage of this, so it is only available in a kit and for as long as they last. And we've already sold quite a few of them, so.
I bought one.
You bought one.
I came last week thinking it was.
I
moved up on when the class was.
I but I don't have a cube. So I'm not doing it.
$28.99.
Big version of it.
Yeah, I
With
can
the
make
big,
a
yeah.
bigger version.
Yeah, you could. You could.
It'd be pretty big. Wouldn't it? Would it double that size?
It would be double that size.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad.
That wouldn't be bad.
No.
You brought show and tell?
Yeah. I can.
Okay.
You want show and tell already?
Sure.
This
Well, that
is
was
what
my
made
show and
me-
tell.
This is the quilt that made me buy the Active quilt because I had to cut almost 800 2-inch squares. And I said, no.
That's good.
The only thing that I used it for was the setting kit because I didn't have the Active quilt when I made the blocks. But I had all those little squares or 2-inch.
That's beautiful.
And it was a block of the month at Prairie Point, and I had to cut all these little squares. And I said, that's what forced me to buy my Active quilt. So, and then I brought this one was cut on the Active quilt machine. Yeah, because I used the strip die.
Oh, very cute.
It's called the Lucky Log Cabin.
That is pretty.
Yeah. So, and it did go together. I think it went together better because I used the Active quilt machine to do the strips. And I tried to cut strips after I used the machine.
Yeah.
With a ruler because it was a different size, and my ruler kept wanting to slide on me.
I know. Doesn't
And
it
I
make you
just
go?
But I really like this one. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to have it cut or if I'm going to do it myself because it's small.
Yeah.
I won't do that one because it's too big.
What'd you bring?
It's not AccuQuilt, but it was a fun project. Little hanging Christmas sweaters.
Cute.
Oh, that's
Oh, that is super
embellishments
cute.
That is cute.
Whose embroidery design is that? Or is that?
Well, it was the Missouri Star Quilt, the Christmas Jenny boxes,
Okay.
and so this was one of the. There's like a little template. It's
Oh, so it's
applique.
machine applique.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then put on something like that's Chuck the
Oh,
Duck. So I
that's
had a
really
Chuck the
cute.
Duck bead to make a necklace. And
Yep.
kind of stuff.
That's so cute.
But,
That's really fun.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. Hello, Carrie Quilts. Hello, Cheryl. Hi, Beverly. So let's talk about our pattern. So this is our current pattern that we're going to be working on. And so let's flip over to our cutting instructions. I did take your suggestion and I did number the fabrics. And so in the cutting, and once you get to the cutting, you'll notice the fabrics match the numbers, and then in your piecing instructions, the numbers match the pattern fabric. So let's flip over to our cutting instructions. Everything is pretty standard. You're going to love using die number 5 in the 4-inch cube because you get so many pieces. So I think it's, what did we figure? 6 times 8 is 48. You get 48 shapes cut with one pass if you do your 6 layers. I know, because you look at the number of how many you need, 904 half square triangles to make this quilt. You're like, oh my gosh, there's no way. But you get 6 times 48 with one pass in your rotary cut or in your AccuQuilt. So not going to take you as long as you think. Let's talk about the strip die cutting. So Typically, when you see strip dyes, you see a 1.5 by or 4.5 by 1.5 inch log brick. I put 4.5 by 1.5 and 4.5 by 2.5 because when you cut your strips, if you're doing your strip dye or your rotary cutting, you are going to cut 4.5 with the fabric, 4.5 inch with the fabric, and then you're going to fan fold it across your 2.5 inch strip dye, and then in the white background, you're going to fan fold across your 1.5 inch strip dye. Does that make sense to everybody? So when I say it's a 4.5 by 1.5, you're going to cut your width of fabric 4.5 inches. Okay? Especially important when you have a kit because it may work, the math may work differently long ways. You do use the 8-inch cube in this. I didn't put it in the instructions because you could rotary cut it, but you need 20 4.5-inch squares. And that is the last line on your rotary cutting or your cutting instructions. Borders and binding. You don't have to cut yours 2.5 inches. I use a 2-inch binding. A lot of people use a 2.5. That's why I included 2.5 on the pattern. Okay. So do we have the 4-inch? So this is your 4.5, your shape number 5. It is tiny. There are 8 shapes on the die. Didn't really run into any trouble cutting this.
Triangle, I mean half square.
Half square triangles is shape number 5.
Oh, okay.
So on the 8-inch cube you have 2 shapes. On the 4-inch cube you have 8. So shape number 10. There is only one on the die on shape number 10. So you will just fan fold. So the ones where you have 6 width of fabric, so on the pattern where it says width of fabric 6, then you're going to need 6 strips to cut your 80 pieces. So you can just loosen, unfold all of them and cut all 6 at the same time. So 6 layers. Or however you don't have to do it that way. You can fan fold. Sometimes it's easier if we're opening up that strip and cutting them up that way. Same thing with the 8. You just have 2 extra. Any questions? This was a really easy quilt to cut out. And so you'll be done probably hour maybe, hour and a half. It's not bad. Well, if you're going to pick fabric.
Well, I'm slow. So.
Well, I wanted to put on the width of fabrics for the strips that you need to cut because that's part of our cutting, right? So it helps to know if I need 904 of shape number 5, I need to cut 12 width of fabric. And that's what I'm talking about. Open your width of fabric up, 2 layers. I mean, you have 2 groupings of 6 layers and run them through that way. So you can keep track. You should be able to get 10 passes in your width of fabric. So be sure and watch how many passes you're getting, because if you don't get 10, you're going to not have enough fabric. We do have more. So questions? Good to go?
On the borders,
Okay.
4.5, so we're doing 31.5 inches, is that right?
That's how much fabric you need. The I will give you, you don't have to cut it.
Okay.
So
just
we'll-
hold till we do
yeah,
that. Okay.
Yep, just hold on to the border fabric. Good question. Just hold on to the border fabric
Okay.
until we're at the very end. This is gonna go 5 months.
5 minutes.
5 months, so we're gonna do like 3 colors a month. Okay? If there are no questions, then that's us.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.